virtual orientation of St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our principal, assistant principal, teaching and non-teaching staff, and the representative from B1 Learning Systems Incorporated. Welcome, ma'ams and sirs. My name is Rosalie Sampson, one of your guidance counselors, and I will be your host for today. The objective of this orientation is for you to get acquainted with the different services, programs, and information relevant to your educational experience here at Senior High. We will start the program through a prayer followed by the national anthem. To bless this remarkable event, let us watch this video followed by the national anthem and the vision mission statement of Senior High.
Lead me, Lord, lead me by the hand and help me face the rising sun. Comfort me through all the pain that life may bring. There's no other hope that I can lean upon. Lead me, Lord, lead me all my life.
Walk by me across the lonely roads that I may face. Take my arms and let your hands show me the way. Show the way to live inside your heart all my days, all my life. You are my light, you're the lamp upon my feet. All the time, my Lord, I need you there. You are my light, I cannot live alone. Let me stay by your guiding love all through my life. Lead me, Lord.
Lead me, Lord, even though at times I'd rather go along my way. Help me take the right direction, take your road.
Lead me, Lord, and never leave my side. All my days, all my life.
You are my light, you're the lamp upon my feet. All the time, my Lord, I need you there. You are my light, I cannot live alone. Let me stay by your guiding love all through my life.
US University Laboratory High School Senior High Vision Mission. The SLU Laboratory High School Senior High is committed to be a transformative, socially engaged Catholic educational institution, forming Christ-centered, responsible, and globally enterprising citizens through holistic human and Christian formation, collaborative learning, and academic excellence in the pursuit of justice, peace, and integrity of creation.
That was such a beautiful prayer. Indeed, may God lead us as we go through this orientation. Now, I would like to invite all of you to recite the SLU Quality Policy. You may turn on your mic and join me. We are committed to developing locally responsive, globally competitive, and empowered human resources who are creative,
competent,
socially
socially
involved,
and
and
imbued with Christian spirit. We, in partnership with our stakeholders, are committed to continually improving the
effectiveness of
effectiveness
our
of
quality
quality
management
management
system
system
in
in
meeting
meeting
all
all
applicable
applicable
requirements
requirements
towards
towards the
utmost
utmost
satisfaction
satisfaction
of
of
our
our
valued
valued
customers.
customers.
Right, so thank you all for your participation. Again, before we begin, I would just like to remind our Zoom attendees of the following. First, please keep your mic on mute. This is so we can avoid distractions during the program. Second, be responsible in the chat box. If you have any questions or concerns relevant to what will be discussed today, you may type it in the chat box during the open forum later. Third, if we observe any untoward behavior during the orientation, the participant will be sent to the waiting room. Please also note that the recording of the meeting is not allowed. And lastly, be fully present here. I'm hoping for your participation as we go through this activity. If you are comfortable, you are encouraged to open your video. To formally open this program, let us watch the welcoming remarks of our SLU Senior High Principal, Mr. Romeo E. Javier, and a message from the SLU President, Father Gilbert Salas. Afterwards, we will give you a virtual tour of the Senior High campus and a presentation of the flexible learning plan.
Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Maraming salamat sa pakikiisa sa ating paaralan upang buksang muli ang panibagong akademikong taon. Sa ating mahal na mga magulang na pinangungunahan ng Parents Advisory Council at higit sa lahat ang ating mga mag-aaral. Binabati ko rin ang mga bagong mag-aaral na papasok sa taong ito. Muli, malugod naming inaanyayahan ang lahat sa pamantasan ng San Luis Senior High School.
Dear parents and guardians, my dear pupils and students, this is Father Gilbert Salas. In the name of St. Louis University, I am happy to welcome you to the opening of the academic year 2021. In particular, the LES Department, the Junior High School Department, and the Senior High School Department are ready to attend to the learning needs of your children as we embark on another school journey. Our teachers have been following trainings and other capacity building opportunities to help them prepare for the new normal of basic education. I assure you that they remain committed to fulfilling the primary task of providing a holistic learning experience to your children, which is the brand of Louisian education, academic excellence, and missionary spirit. Our situation today is quite different. The coronavirus pandemic has certainly affected our lives, as it has also changed the educational landscape. I am aware of the challenges that COVID-19 has posed to you as parents and guardians in the education of your children. Schools have shifted to to alternative ways of doing education. I know that you have experienced this matter yourselves since we have implemented flexible mode of learning. That is why I would like to take this opportunity to thank and commend you for your cooperation and support in ensuring the continuity of your children's learning in the time of pandemic. Education is a cooperative enterprise. It is a collaborative effort. Education requires the participation of parents, teachers, and the community in the formation of young people. Our children need direction from us to help them cope with the demands of the time. With your unwavering faith and continued support, Louisian education can play a great role to make this happen. In closing, to our dear pupils and students, let me assure you that all we want is what is best for you. This new academic year, I encourage you to experience the joy and beauty of learning and working together. Cooperate with one another in your search for knowledge. When in doubt, seek guidance from your parents, your guardians, and your teachers. Be open to them and obey them with all your heart. And finally, always pray to our Lord Jesus Christ for the needs of the world, especially to heal our land from COVID-19. Again, welcome, and may God in His infinite mercy continue to bless you and your families. Mabuhay!
Welcome to St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High. The school has been designed with you in mind. This is where we make the difference. Come and join me as I show you your second home.
Indeed, that was a heartwarming message from our principal and dear president. I hope that through the virtual tour and the flexible learning plan video, it has given you an idea of what you can expect for this school year. So, kamusta kayo, dear parents and students? Can I see some thumbs up or heart reaction from the audience? Now, let us be enlightened by the different academic policies and regulations, as well as the different facets of school discipline and method. Join me as we watch this video presentations.
Isang maganda at mapagpalang araw po sa ating lahat. Welcome to St. Louis University Senior High School. Sa aming mga mahal na mga mag-aaral na papasok, grade 11 at ang aming mga nagsisibalikang mag-aaral ng grade 12. At sa aming mga mahal na mga magulang, samahan niyo po ako dahil titignan po natin, hihimayin natin, iintindihin natin ang pagbubukas ng academic year 2021-2022. Ito po si Mr. Romeo E. Javier, ang inyo pong abang lingkod, ang principal ng SLU Senior High School. Alam natin, lalo na ang ating mga mag-aaral na papasok, ganun din po ang ating mga mahal na mga magulang, kung ano ang naghihintay at kalalabasan ng taong ito, dala ng pandemya, sa larangan po ito ng pag-aaral. Dito po sa senior high school, isasagawa po ang flexible learning modality for this academic year. Dalawa po ang plataforma dito. Online-based learning o OPL at correspondence-based learning. Dito makikita po natin ang magiging papel ng bawat isa mula sa ating mga kaguruhan papunta po sa ating mga mag-aaral at katuwang ang ating mga mahal na mga magulang. Samahan niyo po ako sa umagang ito kung ano ang pagkakaiba at kung ano ang kalalabasan ng mga gawain bunga ng pag-aaral na siyang tatapusin ng ating mga mag-aaral. Dito sa online-based learning, sa instruction, teacher facilitation and guided learning po ito. Samantalang sa correspondence-based learning naman, it is a self-paced independent learning. Ano ang pagkakaiba sa instruction sa dalawang platapormang ito? So, ibig sabihin na ang ating guro kasama ang ating mga mag-aaral sa pamagitan po ng synchronous class, magkikita po sila at doon magkakaroon po ng interaksyon, magkakaroon po ng katanungan at dito po magagabayan ang ating mga mag-aaral. Samantalang dito po sa CBL o correspondence-based learning, independent learning ito dahil nandun ang lahat ng mga gabay na gustong ipaabot ng ating mga kaguruhan na siyang gagamitin ng ating mga mag-aaral kung paano po nila ito maiintindihan o kaya iintindihin. At kung mayroon po silang hindi maintindihan, tatanungin lang po ang kanilang guro at kung ano yung guro o ano yung tanong sa guro, yun lang po ang sasagutin. Dito naman sa interaction sa OBL, ito ay sinasagawa o natatapos sa pamagitan po ng mga gawaing grupo. Dito sa CBL naman, individual. Para mas malinaw, magbibigay po ako ng halimbawa sa research na lamang po. Kapag OBL, mayroon pong gawaing group dyan. It is by group. Samantalang sa CBL, sa research, individual, nag-iisa po yung ating mag-aaral. Sa access and distribution po naman, mayroon po tayong mga plataforma dito. LMS o Learning Management System, email, at Google Classroom. Samantalang ang CBL naman, ito ay sa paraan o pamamagitan ng Courier, Pickup, LMS, Google Classroom, at email. Sa makatuwid, ito yung magiging daan upang maipaabot ang mga pangangailangan ng ating mga mag-aaral. Dito naman sa task completion, mapapansin po natin dito po sa OBL, mayroon po tayong 2 attempts, 2 beses. So kung alin o kung anuman po ang mas mataas na nakuha, yun po ang ilalagay na marka. Halimbawa, sinubukan niya po yung unang beses, hindi maganda ang kanyang marka. Out of 20, ang nakuha po niya 5. Ngayon, pwede siyang umulit. At kapag ang nakuha 8 at ito po ay mas mataas, yun po ang ilalagay na marka na nakuha ng ating mag-aaral. Samantalang dito sa correspondence-based learning, one-time submission po ito per grading. Sa pamagitan po ito ng Courier. So titignan lang po natin ang pagkakaiba nito, kung ano yung naisagot o nasagutan ng bata. At yun ang naiparating, yun po ang ilalagay na marka. Na hindi katulad dito po sa online-based learning. Dahil sa online-based learning, makikita nyo po kaagad ang resulta. At kapag nakita ang resulta, malamang doon po makikita at doon din po mabibigyan ng paalala kung saan aayusin sa susunod pa malamang na mga gawain. Ang module cost naman po, ito po ay libre. Free po ito, uploaded sa ating official LMS. Sa Genyo po iyan. Samantalang sa CBL, actual cost of printing. Binding plus courier fee. So mayroon po itong bayarin. Karagdagan, kung titignan natin, malamang it is 2,500. Depende po ito sa lokasyon kung saan po nakatira ang ating mag-aaral, kung ano pong probinsya. Ito po ay sa buong semester. Yung actual cost po nito ng printing ng kanyang module. Samantalang ang OBL, libre po yan. I-upload lang po. Sa pamagitan naman po, sa paraang pag-submit, the submission of work, ang mga gawain, ito ay maaring ipadala o ibigay sa learning management system natin. Okay, ito po yung official po natin na mga learning management natin, ang Google Classroom at sa pamagitan ng email. Ganon din sa correspondence-based learning. Ito ay sa pamagitan ng LMS, courier, dropping. Ang late submission po sa correspondence-based learning ay sa pamagitan, tulad din po yan sa ating online LMS, Google Classroom, at email. Okay. Ngayon naman, titignan natin ngayon kung ano ang magiging papel ng ating mga mag-aaral, ang ating mga kaguruhan, at mayroon bang papel na gagampanan din po ng ating mga magulang. At ano ang mga pangangailangan na dapat nating tugunan o ihanda o kaya'y paghandaan. At dito makikita natin ang kalalabasan, ang marka na inaasahan bawat grading, first grading and second grading bawat semester. So dumako po tayo sa papel ng ating mga mag-aaral. Samahan niyo pong muli ang inyong abang lingkod, ang dalawang plataforma, ang online-based learning at correspondence-based learning sa papel ng ating mga mag-aaral. Ang OBL, collaboration po ito. Team member, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, sa OBL, halimbawa sa research, mayroon po yan, tinatawag natin by group para matugunan, matapos po ang pangangailangan sa research. Isang halimbawa lang po yan. Samantalang sa CBL, independent or self-learner po ito. Batay ito sa pagkaintindi ng ating mga mag-aaral na nakasama, na nakapasok doon sa module na ibinigay ng ating kaguruhan. Kapag may tanong doon sa CBL, yung tanong ng bata, yun po ang sasagutin ng ating guro. Lamang hindi po niya makikita na hindi katulad ng OBL na habang nagkakaroon po sila ng talakayan at nagkaroon po sila ng groupings, pwede nilang tanungin ang guro kung ano ang kalalabasan ng grouping na yon batay sa gawaing inihanda. Tulad ng halimbawa na nasabi ko kanina, research o pananaliksik. Ano naman ang papel ng ating kaguruhan bawat asignatura? Siyempre sa OBL, wala lang po tayo sa loob ng klase, sa 4 na sulok, subalit sa pamagitan ng synchronous class, makikita nyo po yun, mararamdaman nyo po talaga ang papel ng ating teacher, ang ating guro, dahil siya po yung facilitator, siya po yung magbibigay gabay. He is going to act as a guide for you to finish, for you to do said activity. Samantalang sa CBL naman, siyempre ang papel, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, consultant during office hours. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, hihintayin kung may mga katanungan ang ating mga mag-aaral. At kung ano yung tanong, sasagutin po yan ng ating guro. Ngayon, ano naman ang magiging papel habang isinasagawa ang dalawang modality na ito, ang dalawang plataforma ng ating mga magulang? Batay sa ating mga nagdaang karanasan, ang papel ng ating mga magulang, sila ang magsisilbing gabay, supervisor. They are going to supervise, they are going to ask the child or their son or their daughter if they are really attending religiously their class. Pero ang tanong, paano kaya kung may trabaho si nanay at si tatay? So hindi malamang ng magulang kung ang kanilang anak ay talagang religiously attending the said class. Subalit, malalaman din yan sa pamagitan po dahil nga sa synchronous class, mayroon po silang online consultation din, pwede pong magtanong ang ating magulang. Dito po sa CBL, siyempre yung magiging papel ng ating magulang, learning o coach yan o kaya tutor. Ngayon, nasabi ko na naman kanina, paano kung may trabaho si mama, si papa? Sino kaya ang magiging gabay o magtuturo batay sa mga nakalagay na mga gawain sa module? Kung may mga kapatid siya na pwedeng tumulong, pwedeng magbigay gabay, yun po ang magiging papel din ng kanilang mga kasamahan sa bahay. At tulad ng sinabi ko, kung mayroon man siyang katanungan, pwede niya pong tanungin during the office hour ng ating guro. Ngayon, ano ang mga pangangailangan para sa dalawang modality na ito, dalawang platapormang ito? Dito sa online-based learning, pansinin mabuti po dito. Dahil kung minsan, batay sa mga nagdaang karanasan, papalit-palit ang kanilang mga ito po yung desisyon. Pero ngayon po, hindi na po mangyayari po yun. Dahil mayroon po tayong dapat sundin na siyang makakatulong para sa pag-aaral ng iyong mga anak. So, ang pangangailangan sa OBL, kailangan lang po ito ng computer, laptop o kaya tablet. Siyempre, kailangan ang reliable internet connection. Ang letter C, appropriate study learning area, lugar kung saan na magiging mainam, maayos at kaaya-aya sa pag-aaral ng bata o kaya ang inyong anak. O kaya isang lugar na kung saan pwede niyang ito po yung makuha, the concentration. Tulad ng sinabi natin kasi, iba po ang senior high school with regards to the curriculum. That of the junior high school. So, malamang na nasa letter B, doon kayo siguro magkakaroon ng agam-agam. Oo nga, paano kung hindi reliable yung internet connection? Pero mayroon kayong internet connection. Ngayon po, kung nagkaroon po ng aberya, nagkaroon po kayo ng hindi inaasahan na mga pangyayari, ipagpalagay natin upgrading po ng internet o kaya sa panahon ngayon tag-ulan o kaya hindi inaasahan, nagkaroon din po tayo ng mga ito po yung pang-natural na kalamidad po ito. Isang halimbawa lang yan. Paano na yung pag-aaral ng aking anak? Hindi po problema po yan. Dahil agarang matutulungan po kayo doon basta't iparating lang po sa ating mga kaguruhan o kaya sa homeroom advisor dahil mayroon po naman palaging oras para sa mga mag-aaral during their homeroom advisor o homeroom class. Kaya doon malalaman po kaagad at mabibigyan ng agarang aksyon. Maiintindihan po yan ng ating paaralan. Samantalang sa CBL naman, siyempre complete set na po, printed module ang maipapadala ang matatanggap ng iyong anak. Kaya downloaded module. Yun po. Sa academic achievement naman, sana po makita nyo ang pagkakaiba dito po sa academic achievement na ito. Sa OBL, generally higher. Batay po ito sa mga napansin po natin sa mga nagdaang pag-aaral dala ng pandemyang ito. Sa correspondence-based learning naman, generally lower. Bakit higher sa OBL? Bakit lower? Generally lower sa CBL. Kasi nakikita po natin ito. Tignan po natin ang advantages ng dalawang modality ito. Bakit may generally higher at generally lower sa CBL o kaya sa module. So, dito kasi, ang isa, ang number one po dito, there is an immediate feedback or constant or easier monitoring of class standing. Kasi yung gawain ng bata, malalaman na po kaagad. At kapag mayroon po siyang gustong maliwanagan, gustong malaman, pwede niyang tanungin, agarang tanungin at makakukuha kaagad ng kasagutan kung ano ang nangyari sa nabanggit na gawain. So, yun po sa online-based learning. Kasi nandun si teacher. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, wala lang tayo sa classroom, subalit nandun at nagkikita-kita pa rin po sila doon. Dito sa pangalawa, number 2, better quality of output. Siyempre, nandun, nagagabayan, nabibigyan ng mga paalala. At ang mahalaga po dito, yung mga estratehiya na pwedeng isagawa ng mag-aaral, lalong-lalo na if it is by group. Samantalang sa CBL, tulad ng sinabi ko, nag-iisa po siya doon. Batay lang sa pagkaintindi ng mag-aaral. Batay sa gabay ng mga taong kasama niya sa bahay. At ganun din po sa ating mga magulang. Siyempre, sasabihin, nagtanong naman ako kay teacher. Siyempre, yung pagtanong niya sa teacher at yun din po ang sinagot o kaya nasagutan o naipadalang pagpapaliwanag ng teacher. So nakikita po natin ang pagkakaiba talaga sa online and CBL. Sa number 3, prompt submission of requirement. So, prompt dahil nga nakikita kaagad ang resulta at doon din sa official LMS natin, Learning Management System natin na Genyo, doon po ipinapadala. Agarang natatanggap yan ng ating mga kaguruhan. Napansin po natin, late submission, mostly karamihan CBL student. Paano nangyari yun? Ngayon na nga, ramdam na naman po natin kung ano ang nangyayari dala ng pandemyang ito. Senaryo po, siyempre bawat probinsya may sariling protocol yan. Kapag ipapadala by courier, siyempre hindi agad-agad na makakarating dito sa paaralan. Paano naman kung dito, hindi ko naman po pinapanalangin po natin dito ang lahat that we are all safe, most especially our loved ones, ang ating mga mahal sa buhay. Pero kung minsan hindi naman natin may iwasan, paano kung may mga lockdown din na lugar? Pero wag po kayong magalala pag mga ganung mga pangyayari. Kaya lang, kinakailangan din po yung himayin ng ating mga grade level advisors kung ano yung mga naging dahilan para po sa mga CBL kung bakit late. Pero yun po talaga ang katunayan na nangyayari sa nakaraang taon. Yung kaapat na advantage nga na or advantages over that of OBL and CBL, ang alam ko natin, ang hinihiling, ang dinadasal ko ng karamihan, sana bumalik na ang face-to-face. Subalit, hindi natin alam kung kailan. Subalit, dito sa OBL, mayroon pong virtual social interaction. Kaya po, wag po sana kayong magtaka at wag po sana kayong magalit kung naririnig niyo po ang ating mga kaguruhan na dapat makita nila ang inyong anak, that they are really the one attending during their synchronous class. Sa OBL po ito. Huwag po kayong mag-alala. Pag napapatungkol po sa data privacy, alam po yan natin dito po. Kung ito ay para sa klase lang po. Ayun po. Okay? Isa pang maganda kasi sa OBL, mayroon po tayong online discussion ng lesson. Makikita nyo po talaga na yung si teacher ay nagtuturo, nagsusulat din. Kung minsan, mayroon din pati yung mga diagram, may papakita po yun. Tulad ng sinabi ko, kung titignan po natin, mga mahal naming mga mag-aral, incoming grade 11, paalala ko po, hindi katulad ng junior high school, ang mga signatura nyo po dito sa senior high school. Isang halimbawa sa ABM, yan pong tinatawag nating fundamentals of accounting. Isa pa, yung tinatawag po nating chemistry 1 and 2, yung fundamental ng accounting 1 and 2. Dalawa po yun. Dalawa rin po chemistry. Physics, dalawa rin po. Statistics, mayroon din po yan. Kaya titignan natin ang OBL, mas lalong nagiging kaaya-aya, mas lalo kong nagiging maganda dahil nandun si teacher. Online discussion on the spot, na napapalawak po niya ang asignatura. Samantalang sa CBL, tulad ng sinabi ko, ayon yun sa pagkaintindi ng bata at magtatanong, every now and then magtatanong sa teacher. Pero hindi ang nasa club doon, hindi niya nakikita si teacher. Siguro magtatanong kay Papa. Nagkataon naman na si Papa engineer. Pero si Papa engineer nga, kaso may trabaho from Monday to Friday. Ay naku, pagod po si Papa. Ganun din si Mama. Halimbawa sa fundamentals po yan ng accounting. O nga na si Mama accountant, pero pagod din si Mama from Monday to Friday. Paano kaya matutugunan? Halimbawa, may hindi rin po naintindihan ng ating anak. Kaya yun po, kaya nga nakikita natin na mas nakakalamang si OBL dahil nandun palagi ang papel ng ating mga kaguruhan. Siyempre, alam po naman natin ngayon na ang ating mga anak ay talaga pong from elementary hanggang po sa university, talaga pong ginagamit natin ang teknolohiya. Subalit kung sa CBL, isa pong module na hawak-hawak at yun po yung binubuklat at yun po yung iniintindi ng ating mag-aaral na wala si teacher sa kanyang harapan. Bilang pagtatapos, our dear Louisians, grade 11 and grade 12, sa aming mga mahal na mga magulang, ganun din po our guardians, kami po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat dahil sa tiwalang ibinigay sa SLU Senior High School.
The grading system. The grading system prescribed by DepEd is used. The table shows the weight distribution of the summative components for senior high school. As seen in the table, under the first column are the assessment components, namely written works, which basically are the quizzes, and performance tests. What basically is a performance test? A performance test is any learning activity or assessment that asks students to perform to demonstrate their knowledge, understanding, and proficiency. Performance tests yield a tangible product and or performance that serves as evidence of learning and will be taken 40% and 60% in the grades computation for all the subjects except research and immersion, where 50% each is computed from both written works and performance tests. Furthermore, core subjects in the second column are the mandatory subjects across all strands for senior high school. This includes subjects such as oral communication, reading and writing, etc. for grade 11. And for grade 12, we have statistics and probability, media and information literacy, and many more. Other subjects in the third column of the table include applied track subjects like research, Filipino sa Pilingralang, to name a few. And specialized subjects, the subjects that concentrate on a particular strand. For example, in STEM grade 11, we have chemistry and biology. Then on grade 12 are physics and DRRR, disaster readiness and risk reduction. Same with ABM and that of Humes. They also have specialized subjects. What about this academic track in the third column? This academic track prepares the students who plan to pursue college education and comprises 4 strands: ABM or Accountancy, Business and Management track, Humes, Humanities and Social Sciences track, STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics track, and GAS, General Academic strand. Out of these 4 tracks, only the first 3, ABM, Humes, and STEM, are being offered here in SLU Senior High. The last column in the table, which are TVL, Sports, Arts and Design track, will no longer be considered. Other than these subjects, we also have RVE, Religion and Values Education. 20% written works, 30% performance test, 30% religious involvement, and 20% culminating performance tests. What is this religious involvement? This is the rationale of religious involvement to the student. Since you are enrolled in St. Louis University, a Catholic university, included in the school's curriculum is the subject Religion and Values Education, or RVE. Your school fosters not only academic excellence, creativity, and social involvement, but also focuses on the understanding, formation, and practice of the Christian spirit among the students as well as to the whole school community. Our school's goal is to inculcate in you, young Louisians, the gospel values which you are supposed to put into practice in your daily lives. In order to successfully fulfill your religion and values education program, a weekly religious involvement is included as one of the requirements in your RVE classes. Your attendance will be checked by your RVE teachers. Therefore, you are required to join in the Sunday Eucharistic celebration or Holy Mass, or worship and fellowship in your own church. This is to be taken by all enrolled senior high school students, regardless of religious faith and affiliation. This is not to be used to convert or to proselytize. For those who are not affiliated with any religious faith, you still need to attend a weekly celebration or worship of any religious group with whom you are comfortable. It is from this experience that you will draw out the different weekly religious involvement reflections required in your RVE subject. Academic requirements per grading period. 3 written works at 30 points each, 3 performance tests also at 30 points each, except for PE and RVE. For PE, there will only be 2 written works at 30 points each, 2 performance tests also at 30 points each. But for RVE, 2 written works also at 30 points each, and 3 performance tests at 30 points each. There will also be interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary tests where applicable. There are no quarterly examinations or assessments. Platforms in submitting requirements. Within the due dates is via our official learning management system, and that is the Genio. But for late submissions or after the due dates, it is via the Google Classroom, Genio, or email. The subject teacher's email is indicated in the course guide or will be shared during subject orientation. For easier or faster access of students to the general reminders, subject teachers shall create an official messenger group chat for both OBL and CBL. Students should kindly use their real given name and recent decent picture on Messenger. Honor system for grade 12 graduating students. To give due recognition for meritorious performance of our grade 12 graduating students, an academic recognition or with honors of students who meet the general average with grades no lower than 85 in any grading period. A gold medal is given for a student who will be getting a general average of 97 to 99.99. Silver medal for a general average of 94 to 96.99. And the bronze medal for a general average of 90 to 93.99. Other points to be considered for the academic policies. Grades with DNS inputs or did not submit on the class record shall be finalized and validated after the 8th week in each grading period, except if these students are issued excuse confirmation slips indicating the date of submission of complete late requirements. In case of the following, letter A, no submission or not a single submission of requirements from first grading to second grading. If unexcused, a student will need to submit those requirements, but the ceiling grade that the student can acquire is 75. If excused, the student accomplishes a different set of complete activities along the same MELCs. MELCs stands for the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. In case of the following, letter B, failing grade due to incomplete submission. If unexcused, a student will need to submit the missing requirements, which is already a form of intervention, but the ceiling grade is 75. If excused, the student accomplishes the missing requirements where a scoring rubric is used. Grade may be higher than 75. Letter C, remaining incomplete submission after the card day or the issuance of grades day. Whether excused or unexcused, the student accomplishes a different activity newly prepared by the subject teacher. Excused, scoring rubric is used. Unexcused, corresponding deductions apply. Submission of requirements for OBL and CBL. This parameter also applies to CBL students whose submission of requirements is one time per grading period. Please take note, dear parents, that an academic year is divided into 2 semesters, the first semester and the second semester. For each semester is also divided into 2 grading periods, the first grading and the second grading. So for this first semester, due dates of submission are as follows. For the first grading is October 13 to 19, 2021. For the second grading, December 14 to 17, 2021. During the submission of CBL outputs, the requirements checklist slip must be in 2 signed or acknowledged copies, one for the school and one for the parent or guardian. Other points to be considered for the submission of requirements for both the OBL and CBL. Number 1, submission is the due date indicated in the course guide. Example, written work 1 in General Physics to be submitted on September 3, 2021. Number 2, 1 week after the due date is allowed as extension, provided the delay is communicated ahead to the grade level advisor or GLA with the supporting documents or attachments. Granted excuse by the GLA, no deduction of points. Extension is given until September 10, 2021. 3. After presentation of confirmation slip, failure to submit after 1 week extension, apply deduction or deductions as follows. Late submission is considered unexcused. 1 day delay is less 30% of the total obtained score. 2 days delay is less 40% of the total obtained score. 3 days delay is less 50% of the total obtained score. 4 days delay is less 60% of the total obtained score. And 5 days delay is a maximum of 5-point score to be recorded. Please take note, holidays and weekends are not included in the counting. Here is a sample computation for deductions. Due date is September 3, 2021. Extension date, which is 1 week, is September 6 to 10, 2021. So for the written work 1 in General Physics 1, for a total of 30 points. The student obtained a score of 24 points. Apply deductions as follows. 1 day delay, that is already September 13, 2021, is minus 30%. Therefore, the obtained score of 24 minus 30% of it, the recorded score will be 17. September 14 is already 2 days delay from the extension date, is minus 40%. The obtained score of 24 minus 40% of it, the recorded score will be 14. And on September 15, that is already 3 days delay, is minus 50% of the obtained score. 50% is half of the obtained score. So half of 24 is 12 to be the recorded score. September 16, this is already 4 days delay, is minus 60%. So 24 minus 60% will only give 10 as the recorded score. And September 17, that is the 5 days delay, is minus 70%. The score will only be 5 points. The submission of the confirmation slip will affect the day or days of late submission. Thus, students are encouraged to secure the confirmation slip as soon as possible.
Hello, everyone. Last year is a story that has ended. The coming year is the story that needs your time and attention. So promise yourself to make it an interesting story. And to help you make this year a hassle-free one, let me present to you School Discipline for Flexible Learning. So I am your Cluster B, Grade 12, grade level advisor. My name is Mrs. Ria Francis A. Robles. So let me discuss with you very briefly discipline and behavior during synchronous class and online consultation time. So meaning to say, what are these things that you should remind yourself to be ready for before you join our synchronous classes and online consultation time? The very first one is, of course, proper grooming. Okay, we know that grooming plays a major role in maintaining a high self-esteem and self-confidence. So for our male students, we of course require you that when meeting your teachers and classmates during synchronous classes, make sure that you keep your hair well combed or brushed up in case you haven't gone for a haircut. We require also the same from our female students. So also during synchronous classes, make sure that you keep your hair tied with hair clip or hairband so as not to cover your face. Another, of course, is proper school uniform. Now, unfortunately, of course, for the past year and even for this year, we are doing away with the school uniforms. Now, of course, we do have also 1 or 2. We have the standard uniform. We also have our P uniform. We even have a strand uniform. But since we cannot wear them this year, we have a tentative uniform that we can be using for our synchronous meetings this school year. And it's based on your strand colors. So listen up, for gentlemen, before you go for synchronous meetings, hopefully you are able to wear a polo shirt or a short sleeve polo, preferably representing the strand color or white color. For ladies, it's almost the same thing. It's a polo shirt or blouse, preferably representing the strand color or white color. So if you belong to the ABM strand, your polo shirt or short sleeve polo or blouse should at least be yellow. If you belong to the Hume strand, it's blue. And for the STEM strand, it's green. Now, aside from these two basic reminders, we also would like to give some suggestions regarding your online, your at-home study space, no? In order for you to have a fruitful school year. Now, these are just recommendations. With regards to your home study space, we of course understand that study spaces at home can come, no, in all shapes and sizes. Each learning space, of course, will be slightly different, but try to make sure when you prepare your study at home study space that it meets the following characteristics. These are just recommendations. The first one is your space, hopefully you can put it in a well-lit place, no, with natural light. Okay, that is if you can do it. Why? Because eye strain can occur if you try to read or focus on a computer screen for too long in a dimly lit area. And we have, of course, some complaints regarding this. And that's the reason why we have opted to share to you some suggestions on how you can come up with your own study space. And remember, no, that natural light is a healthy one for you, not only physically, but also emotionally. So aside from space, try also to put in mind to have a comfortable seating and tabletop height. A chair, of course, no, that offers a good back support without being overly hard or uncomfortable would probably be the best choice for you. So remember, a comfortable learning space will allow for you to work with physical comfort and the mental comfort of reduced distractions. Another, not actually a requirement, but a suggestion is if you can put your study space, especially if you're going to be using a laptop or a computer or a desktop, put it near a power outlet, because it is really important that setting up an effective learning space that is, of course, conducive to good mental, physical, and emotional health is very, very relevant, especially nowadays. So with a little forethought in planning, you will be able to set up a learning space that will really work great for yourself. Okay, and as the side says, it is very imperative that you have reliable power source nearby to keep your computer or your laptop fully charged while you work. All right, so these are just some suggestions to help you put up your study spaces at home. Okay, but let me repeat that it would vary for every household. So the best people actually to put this one up is you yourselves. Okay, so just make sure that at home, hopefully you have natural light, you have the power outlet that you need, and of course a table probably, because the bed is the last thing you're supposed to be in when you are joining synchronous classes. Okay, all right. Now, aside from this, we would also like to require that when it comes to, since we're going to be using different platforms for flexible learning, we also would like to require something about profile picture in all official school platforms. So what do I mean by this? Let me show you an example. So usually for this year, we will be using the different platforms. We have our LMS, the Genio. We will also be using our Gmail, and of course, our Google Classroom. So when I say profile pictures, I'd like you to look at this one. If you notice, I'm using my own example. I'm using only one particular profile picture in all the platforms that I will be using. And we will also be requiring you to do the same. So something decent, okay, just like us. Here in these pictures, I'm wearing my school uniform. And if we can maintain that in all the official school platforms, then it would be very good, no? Especially for identification purposes. Okay, so that is as far as our profile picture in all official school platforms is concerned. Okay, all right. So aside from this, I would also like to mention a note regarding absences, especially for synchronous classes. Okay, of course, attendance matters and every school day counts. But we don't always know, no, that something may occur during this time. So, of course, there might be chances that we will be absent. But what should we remember every time that we are going to be also absent? So these are just reminders, okay? So when you have your first absence, we will note that down. No? Subject teachers will note that down. But if your second absence, okay, will occur, the subject teacher concerned will give first notice, no, to your parents. The same will happen for a third absence. The subject teacher again will give a second notice to your parents. So they can do this through the email way. We can also do this probably through calling, no, your parents. So in other words, we will use every platform that we can use in order to inform your parents about your absences. However, if it now goes to your fourth absence onwards, the grade level advisor now will have to set up a conference, okay, between your parents, okay, and it is also might happen with the principal, okay. So it can be done online. We can have an online conference or on-site conference. When I say on-site conference, your parents and you probably will be invited in school, okay, if it's possible, and have the conference there, okay? Because remember that non-attendance of asynchronous meetings will mean a lot also with your, what do you call this now, with your ability to follow up with what's going on. And missing one synchronous meeting will already mean hours, no, of not being able to participate in your classes, okay? All right, so please take note of that. Now, these reminders will be repeated when you will have your own meetings with your homeroom advisors. Now, for the last part of my presentation, I would just like to mention something on how are we supposed to have a proper interaction with our teachers and our fellow students, our classmates during synchronous meetings. I have only 4 reminders, no, in reference to proper interaction. Okay, the first one is always be careful with your tone. Okay, what do we mean by this? We, while an online conversation with friends doesn't necessarily require much thought, the same doesn't actually go for when you're having a conversation with your teachers, okay, or with your classmates during a synchronous meeting. So, for example, if you're sending out something in the chat box, you have to be careful, no, with the use of capitalization. Why? Because sometimes writing in all caps can oftentimes be interpreted as yelling, no, and it will be viewed as impolite. And it's also very similar when you come up with a joke, sometimes it can be perceived as a rude remark. So this is why you have to make sure that your point doesn't actually get lost in the translation, all right? So you have to make sure that when you are in synchronous meeting, your point doesn't get lost in translation. So that's why you have to be careful with your tone. The second reminder is be accurate and factual, meaning to say, try to stop the spread of false information. So we know that the internet is a vast place with information coming from all sorts of sources. Okay, and that's the reason why when you go on a discussion, no, during synchronous class, you should be very careful when providing any kind of information. It's very important to do fact checking everything you read and possibly include sources also when you give advice or share information in your discussions. Okay, so let's be accurate and factual. The third one, or the fourth one, I think this is the third one, I'm sorry for the number, is to stay on topic. What do we mean by this? No, staying on topic. When there is a discussion happening, it's very crucial that everyone will stay on topic. It's easy to stray off, all right, the initial conversation, especially when there are already many people participating in it. Okay, so filling then the conversation with unnecessary information can lose precious time, and it makes it now hard for someone to understand what the discussion is really about. So when you start talking at the same time, okay, during the SCs, well, that would be very difficult, no? Not only for you, but also with how your teacher will manage now the discussion. Okay, so make sure that you understand first and foremost what the discussion is all about, and only try to reply with things which are relevant to it. This can, of course, prove helpful to both you and the others who are in the SC. All right, and make sure that not only that you understand what's going on, but you can also prove that what you're saying is true, but by, you know, like what I said earlier, fact checking everything that you share or any information that you give during synchronous classes. Okay, so try to help one another. Now, the last one is respecting others' opinions. Actually, basic to these reminders about proper interaction is respect. You should be aware that you're not always going to agree with the opinions of your classmates or professors, or your teachers rather. However, let's keep in mind, no, that we should always be respectful in discussions. Okay, you can disagree with someone and respect their opinions at the same time. Okay, because although online learning carries a level of anonymity and distance, which traditional classes don't, that shouldn't serve as a reason to not be kind to someone. Remember always that an online classroom is still a classroom. Okay, so with all these reminders to you, I wish you and pray a very good school year 2021-2022. Just like I said in the very beginning, last year is a story that has already ended. This year is the story that needs your time and your attention. So let's promise ourselves to make it an interesting story. Thank you so much for listening. Good day, everyone.
Good morning, Louisians. Thank you for joining us this morning. My discussion is about online rules or netiquette in the new normal and SLU's privacy policy as it applies to our school. I hope you heard it right and understood very well what Ma'am Ria has mentioned about proper interaction online. Now, together with Mr. Roy Asignacion, our assistant principal and the head of the Board of Discipline, and the other grade level advisors, Ma'am Patricia Oberos, Ma'am Maricris Tolentino, Ma'am Ria Robles. My name is Rona Dumantay, your grade 11 Cluster A grade level advisor. Welcome po to St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High. What is netiquette? Netiquette is short for internet etiquette. These are the code of good and preferred behavior or wastong pag-uugali as we interact with other people online. In real life, this is what we observe and exercise as good citizens. Online etiquette is based on a face-to-face behavior. How you behave in the virtual world reflects how you act in real life. In the same way, what you learn online can also be applied offline. So why are we talking about this here? Because here in St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High, we are not just concerned with the academics, but also the character of our students. And because manners are the basic building blocks of civil society, ika nga po ni Alexander McCall Smith. Online or offline, we need to treat everyone with kindness and respect. After all, we are still human beings. Let us treat everyone with respect. Let us give it in order to get it. Respect is something both learned and earned. Yes, it's true. Knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. Yun po ang sabi ni Bruce Lee. Now, the proper way to interact with our teachers and classmates should stay the same. We do not say anything online that we wouldn't say to a person face to face. Online interactions may at times lack context or the benefit of facial or body language cues. Because in today's virtual classroom, the platforms have replaced our blackboards, but still our values and principles remain. So as we all adjust to meet the challenges of online classes, parents, teachers, and students, magtulungan po tayo. Because being respectful helps us understand each other and the lesson properly. It prevents miscommunication. Keeping our discussions focused can only be achieved if everyone behaves politely and respectfully towards each other. And of course, to ensure effective teaching and learning. Netiquette builds a community of learners. In this time of distance learning, collaboration and cooperation is imperative. Working together and helping each other benefits all of us because we share a common space. We are all responsible in making our online community safe and a conducive place for learning. Kaya let us make it a team effort, dear parents, teachers, and of course, dear students. Virtual or not, we are still in school. Acting in a professional manner is expected from both teachers and students, and the parents, of course. The success of our virtual classroom lies in our collective hands. Agree po ba tayo doon? Sana all. Well, the core rules of netiquette by Shea is one of the things that we are recommended to follow while communicating virtually. Although they won't answer all your netiquette questions, they should give you some basic principles to use in solving your own netiquette dilemmas. The core rules of netiquette are excerpted from the book Netiquette by Virginia Shea. Rule number 1, remember the human. When communicating electronically, whether through email, instant message, discussion post, text, or some other method, practice the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Remember, your written words are read by real people, all deserving of respectful communication. Teacher man yan, estudyante man yan, parent man yan. Before you press the send or submit, ask yourself, would I be okay with this if someone else had written it? Just as Mom Rias earlier mentioned, writing in all caps is like yelling. Would you actually do that in real life? Sana naman po ay hindi. And because communicating online lacks facial expressions, you may use emojis, smileys, because it can make it more human. Rule number 2, adhere to the same standards of behavior online that you follow in real life. In real life, most people are fairly low abiding, either by disposition or because we're just afraid of being caught. In cyberspace, the chances of getting caught sometimes are slim. And perhaps because people sometimes forget that there's a human being on the other side of the computer. Some people might think that a lower standard of ethics or personal behavior is acceptable in cyberspace. Yes, the confusion may be understandable, but these people are mistaken. Standards of behavior may be different in some areas of cyberspace, but they are not definitely lower in real life. But if you encounter an ethical dilemma in cyberspace, consult the code that you follow in real life. Chances are good you will find the answer. Rule number 3, know where you are in cyberspace. Netiquette varies from domain to domain. Depending on where you are in the virtual world, the same written communication can be acceptable in one area, but might not be considered inappropriate in another. What you text to a friend may not be appropriate in an email to a classmate, to a colleague, to your grade level advisor, to your subject teacher, or to your homeroom advisor. Halimbawa, no, may isang estudyante kasi lately lang, although nakiramdam naman, tumitingin-tingin muna, nag-browse sa group chat, tinignan sino yung mga members, di niya alam, nandun yung teacher na hindi lang nagsasalita. Okay? Then sabi niya, uy, wala yung teacher natin dito. So, does that entitle you na magsabi ng di ka nais-nais about that person who is not in the group chat? Definitely not. Okay. Hindi mo alam, baka yung, halimbawa, siniraan mo yung taong wala doon, tapos, or yung teacher mo, halimbawa, yung nanay pala ng classmate niya ay isa ding teacher. So, think twice. Okay? It might be off kasi doon sa ibang nakakabasa. Okay? Better look around when you are new in a cyberspace. Hindi porket wala kayong teacher doon, okay lang kung ang gusto mong sabihin, or you can say something about against a person or against religion or something like that. Rule number 4, respect other people's time and bandwidth. Electronic communication takes time to read and time in which to respond. Most people today lead busy lives, just like you do, and you don't have time to read or respond to an email or discussion post. As a virtual world communicator, it is your responsibility to make sure that the time spent reading your words is not wasted. Make your written communication meaningful and to the point, without extraneous text or graphics or attachments that may take forever to download. Baka po kasi data lang ang gamit nung nagbabasa. Tapos ang nakikita na lang niya ay puro videos mo na forever mag-load. Ubus na po ang data niya, di pa nag-load ang video mo. Mababa lang daw po kasi ang kanyang bandwidth. Ano po ang bandwidth? This is the information carrying capacity of the wires and channels that connect everyone in cyberspace. There's a limit to the amount of data that any piece of wiring can carry at any given moment. Makaka-relate po dito yung data lang po ang gamit kapag nag-i-internet. So please respect their bandwidth. Okay? Respect other people's time. Don't expect instant responses to all your questions. Pakiusap po. Minsan, pag nag-text po kayo kay teacher, please do so during consultation hours. And please, again, do not expect instant responses. But, of course, we will attend to you. Sana po, aware po tayo sa mga consultation hours. At saka, bago po magreklamo, bago po magtanong, mainam po na magbasa ng mga frequently asked questions. Okay, baka naman po yung tanong ninyo ay nasagot na po prior. Hindi yung nagagalit ka na po, tapos hindi mo alam, nasagot na pala yon. So, sayang po yung oras na pagsagot ng teacher sa bawat isa sa inyo na pare-pareho lang po yung mga tanong. Rule number 5, make yourself look good online. Hindi po ito yung pinakamagandang selfie mo na ipopost mo sa social media mo. But you will, however, be judged by the quality of your writing. Okay? Maganda, gwapo ka. But please, do keep these tips in mind. Always check for spelling and grammar errors. Kasi pag wrong grammar, yun yung nakakawala ng pogi points. Know what you're talking about and state it clearly so as to make sense. Be pleasant and be polite. Yan po ang nagpapakagwapo, nagpapakaganda sa ating itsura online. Okay? Rule number 6 is to share expert knowledge. The strength of cyberspace is in its numbers. The information sharing capability is one of the reasons the internet was founded. Kaya po, share what you know. When you post a question and receive intelligent answers, share the results with others. Hindi po ito yung bagay na kung hindi mo ito i-share, babagsak ka. So, yun po yung hindi natin i-share. Okay? Hindi po kayo babagsak kung hindi nyo po yun i-share. So, please just share expert knowledge. Again, if you are expert on one thing, make a video and share to benefit the others. Or again, if you have knowledge about a subject that might be of interest to others, share that as well. Remember that when you share or post something, you are taking up other people's time. So make sure it's worth their time. Rule number 7, help keep flame wars under control. Ito na po yun. Medyo nakakatakot yung awayan online. Ano po ba ang flaming? Flaming is what people do when they express a strongly held opinion without holding back any emotion. Example, galit na galit ka sa teacher mo or sa kaklase mo or sa kanino mang tao, nagkataon may isang tao na nag-post ng negative about that person. Tapos anong ginawa mo? Ginatungan mo, nag-comment ka. Okay, nang hindi maganda, ay oo nga, parang lalo mong ginalit yung nag-post nun. Okay? Iwasan na po natin ito. Although flaming is not necessarily forbidden in virtual communication, sana po ay iwasan natin. Bilang Louisiano po, ay hindi natin po tinotolerate yung mga bagay na ito. Mahinahon po tayo, hindi po tayo palaaway. Ito yung flame wars. In flame wars naman ay when 2 or 3 people exchange angry posts between one another. Ito yung awayan, bangayan, bardagulan online. Okay, tama po, totoo, existing po ito. Okay? But don't just feed the flames. Iwasan nyo po itong mga awayan. Wala pong magandang maidudulot ang flame wars na po ito. Huwag na po natin patulan o awayin o patulan ang mga bangayan sa social media. Sayang po talaga ang oras natin. Hindi po natin kailangang ilabas ang tapang natin para lang po mapansin. Okay? When you ignore these things, it will die a natural death. Hanggang sa makalimutan mo na and maging peaceful na po ang lahat. Rule number 8, respect other people's privacy. Depending on what you are reading in the virtual world, be it an online class, discussion forum, a Facebook page, an email, you may be exposed to some private or personal information that needs to be handled with care. Example, unintentional na access mo yung picture ng isang kaklase mo na hindi ka nais-nais or sadyang katawa-tawa na matutuwa ang buong klase pag nakita pero hindi mo ba alam nasaktan mo yung isang tao. At una sa lahat, higit sa lahat, na-violate mo ang kanyang privacy. Always keep in mind that the Data Privacy Act of 2012 and its implementing rules and regulation applies. Okay, so just as you expect others to respect your privacy, so should you respect the privacy of others. Okay. Rule number 9, don't abuse your power. Just like in face-to-face situations, there are people in cyberspace who have more power than others. They have more expertise in technology or they have years of experience in a particular skill or subject matter. Maybe ikaw yon, you possess all of this knowledge and power kasi magaling kang sa computer, magaling kang mag-hack. May mga taong ganon. Okay? Or of course, may our system administrator. Just remember, okay, knowing more than others or having more power than others does not give you the right to take advantage of anyone. Again, back to rule number 1, remember the human. Rule number 10, be forgiving of other people's mistakes. Not everyone has the same amount of experience working in the virtual world. And not everyone knows the rules of netiquette. At some point, you will see a stupid question, read an unnecessarily long response, or encounter a misspelled word. When things happen, practice kindness and forgiveness, as you would hope someone would do if you had committed the same offense. If it's a minor case or offense, you just let it slide. Okay? If you feel compelled to respond to a mistake, do so in private. Okay? I-PM mo na lang. Wag yung pagtawanan mo online. Or wag sa public forum ang pagpuna mo sa mistake niya. Kasi we were once a newbie. Okay? Hindi natin alam yung mga bagay nito. So, let's be careful with what we are saying. Again, do it privately kung gusto mong i-correct yung taong yun. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope, Louisians, always remember, okay, yung mga nabanggit ni Ma'am Ria, yung netiquettes, always think before you click. Mahirap na po kasi lalo na pag sa internet, once it's posted, it can be screenshot by many, it can be shared by numbers. So be careful po and always think before you click. Now, just like any other educational institutions, I would like to discuss with you the SLU privacy policy. The SLU collects, processes, and stores information about our students, as well as parents and guardians for a variety of purposes. Isama ko na po dito yung GLA form na ipapasagutan po namin later sa inyo through your homeroom advisors. Meron po kaming GLA form na pasasagutan. Kasama po kasi dito yung mga sensitive information like your phone numbers, your religion, your specimen signature, yung ID ng parents niyo. It is this policy of SLU that whatever information it gathers will be collected, processed, and stored pursuant to the general principles of transparency, legitimate purpose, and proportionality as mandated by the Republic Act 10173 or the Data Privacy Act of 2012, its implementing rules and regulations issued by the National Privacy Commission. If you have not read our school privacy policy, pwede nyo pong balikan, basahin ulit anytime through the SLU website. Kasi po, again, after the orientation or during the first week of classes, your homeroom advisor will be sending you the link and we will request you to fill out that form survey for our GLA records. We will ask you to submit personal data, picture ninyo, pag-uusapan po natin yan during your homeroom period. The data gathered will be used for all GLA concerns, okay, like giving feedbacks in relation to your absences, issuing a confirmation slips, or scheduling a conference with the parent or the guardian. Pag wala po tayong GLA form, hindi po namin kayo mabibigyan ng confirmation slip. Again, we take responsibility for that whatever we collect will be used for its sole purpose, which you will be informed, and of course, in pursuant to Republic Act 10173. If you think that your data has been breached, naikalat, nagsubmit ko pero nakalat, you may write to the Data Protection Officer through the email flashed on screen. Please specify your detailed request, report, and the reasons therefore. Reach out to us if you have some comments and questions for any GLA concern using our email, our official email address, and please send your letters to your respective grade level advisors. Thank you very much. Kung meron po kayong maintindihan, if you have some questions, you may post your questions in our chat box. Again, on behalf of the grade level advisors, welcome and salamat po sa pakikinig.
Thank you for that, Ma'am Rona. How are you doing, everyone? Can I see some reactions from the audience? Yeah, so I hope you were able to grasp what has been discussed on the academic regulations, school discipline, and etiquette. Again, if you have any inquiries, you can reserve that for our open forum later. Now, let me introduce the teaching and non-teaching staff of senior high. Let us all watch this video presentation.
Parents and guardians, good day. This is Marian Dea S. Andaya, and I will be presenting the services offered by the Registrar's Office, Senior High School Department. Let us meet the Registrar's Office team. Mr. Menandro C. Gerardo, School Registrar, and yours truly, Marian Dea S. Andaya, Registrar's Office Clerk. The SLU LHS Registrar's Office offers the following to all senior high students: 1. Online request of certifications and documents. In order to request online certifications and documents, you need to accomplish the following. The clearance form is given to students who are in need of school certifications, certified true copies of documents, and a copy of their Form 127A or permanent record. For the withdrawal form, this will be processed by parents or guardians to notify the office that the student will discontinue attending class in the applicable semester of the current academic year. And for the dropping form, this will be accomplished or processed by the homeroom advisors if students are no longer actively attending the class. We also have the maintenance and updating of students' information and other office-related concerns. How can we avail or request these services? Step 1. You can send an email to shsregistrar@slu.edu.ph. In your email, please provide the following: the full name of student, grade, strand, and section, contact number, concern or document to request, and the purpose of the document. Then please wait for a reply from the staff on when or how the requested documents will be issued. Next is the student's documents needed. Here we have the NSO or PSA birth certificate, QVR or ESC certificate, and the SF10 or student's permanent record. Please take note that the birth certificates and ESC or QVR certificates were being collected during the enrollment. And for the SF10, it will be a school-to-school request. Just a reminder, if you already have the original hard copy of your SF10 or student's permanent record, you may submit it to the registrar's office or send it through courier. Here is our mailing address: the name of the school's address, and the school's contact information. Department of Education Senior High School Voucher Program Guidelines. The qualified voucher recipients. Here are the list of automatically qualified students. Category A, all grade 10 completers in public junior high schools, no need to submit ESC or QVA certificate or certification from the previous school. Category B, all grade 10 completers in SUCs and LUCs, no need to submit ESC or QVA certificate or certification from previous school. Category C, all grade 10 completers in private schools who are ESC grantees must submit an ESC certification issued by the previous school. And lastly, Category D, all grade 10 completers in private schools who are not ESC grantees must submit a QVA certificate. Applicable voucher values. All grade 10 public completers are to receive the amount of 20,000 pesos tuition fee subsidy. Likewise, all private grade 10 completers who are ESC grantees and private grade 10 completers who are non-ESC grantees but are qualified voucher applicants are to receive the amount of 16,000 pesos as a tuition fee subsidy. Terms of voucher program. The continuing participants. A VPB retains his or her subsidy if promoted to grade 12 and continue to study in a non-DepEd senior high school. No maintaining grades are required for VPBs within a school year. A VPB loses his or her subsidy if a learner does any of the following. Number 1, drops out in the middle of the school year. Number 2, does not re-enroll in the following school year. Number 3, fails to be promoted to the next grade level or is retained at the same grade level. Number 4, transfers to another senior high school within the school year. And number 5, transfers to a DepEd senior high school. Please take note, VPBs who drops out due to death of a parent, legal guardian, force majeure, prolonged illness, or accident may be reinstated into the SHS VP program provided they submit valid documents to support their claim. Online posting or publishing of SLU LHS Senior High VPBs. A list of VPBs will be provided to all SLU LHS Senior High homeroom advisors for proper monitoring and checking of VPBs prior to the creation of billing statements. That will be submitted to the Private Education Assistance Committee, who in turn submits the same to DepEd for payment of grants. Application for the senior high school voucher is at this link. Please regularly visit this link for the update. And that's it for the Registrar's Office Students Online Services. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the SLU Laboratory Senior High Learning Resource Center. This is Jovi B. Aguay, the school librarian. The LRC is open during Mondays to Fridays at 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Why do we need the LRC? Even the students are on flexible learning mode, the LRC continuously provides resources and services to students with online learning support. Why still pay for the library fee? The library fee is used to upgrade the holdings in our university libraries, particularly the institutional subscriptions to electronic resources which the faculty members utilize to augment or intensify the contents of their instructional materials. As members of a reputable educational institution, the faculty members and students are enjoined not merely to rely on what they obtain from the internet. Hence, the use of scholarly and reliable resources provided by our university libraries will be of great importance. What are the services of the LRC? E-books, online journals, databases, and other streaming or electronic materials are available. Links are provided via SLU webpage. Video tutorials, announcements, and reminders about services and electronic resources may be accessed through the LRC Facebook page. Queries may also be posted at the LRC Facebook page. Students may request electronic articles, scanned chapters of books, and other online assistance. Online clippers and newspaper headlines are posted daily at the LRC's Facebook page. Harvested e-resources will be posted at the LRC Facebook page. For usernames, passwords, and access codes, feel free to message the librarian through the FB page or at jsagway@slu.edu.ph. Physical circulation or loaning services to students are available. Send an email to jsagway@slu.edu.ph 2 days prior to your visit. Students are advised to consult the SLU OPAC for the complete and correct bibliography details of books prior to his or her visit to the LRC, so as to fasten circulation procedures. To request or recommend any e-textbook, e-book, or other materials for probable acquisition or subscription by the LRC, kindly fill out the recommending approval form. The form may be downloaded through the University Library's webpage and may send the same to jsagway@slu.edu.ph. Moreover, SLU students are advised to forward their library reference, research needs, or queries to jsagway@slu.edu.ph or at LRC Facebook page. Just a reminder, please be respectful when communicating with us. Communicate with us within a reasonable hour. Respect our time as much as we respect yours. Do not send repetitive queries across all emails and platforms associated with the LRC. That is counterproductive. Again, welcome. We are looking forward to collaborating with you, and may you have another inspiring year of learning.
day, everyone, to our parents, guardians, to our students, both incoming grade 11 and grade 12. Welcome to the Parents-Students Orientation for Academic Year 2021-2022. I am Ma'am Lani from the Guidance Office, and I will talk about the programs and services that you can avail of from your guidance counselors. To start off, let us get to know the personnel in our office. So we have 3 guidance counselors. Our first guidance counselor is Sir Saintel Boyen Santiago. So he is assigned to students in grade 11 cluster A. So if you have any concerns, you can approach Sir Saintel. Likewise, for grade 11 cluster B students, your guidance counselor in charge is Ma'am Rosalie Marie Samson. And then for grade 12 students, yours truly is the assigned guidance counselor. So even though we do not meet in person, you can see our faces and probably would recognize us if there will ever come a time that we will meet each other outside. So in here, there are assigned guidance counselors, but we do understand that perhaps if you have preferences for counseling or other services, you may request a particular counselor or a counselor of a particular gender, because sometimes there are students that prefer a female counselor rather than a male counselor and vice versa. So that when you approach our office, you can also request which counselor you would like to talk to. So aside from counseling, we also have our information program. So basically, these programs are intended to provide you with information that you would need not only in your academics, but also in your personal lives. So these are the examples of our information programs that we facilitate for the first and second semester. So for the first semester, we intend to have webinars on embracing the new normal since we are in the pandemic, the mental health program, the career program, and then likewise you also have homeroom activities. So that is one thing that you can look forward to. During your homeroom, there would be practicumers or 4th year psych students who will be facilitating activities. Also, we have our anti-bullying program in the second semester and also our self-appreciation forum. Okay. Next, as mentioned, we also have our main program, the counseling program. So for counseling, it's of 2 kinds. You could be self-referred, ibig sabihin walk-in, you're the one who decided that you needed counseling and you're the one who approached your counselor. It could also be that you were referred by others. So when you say referred by others, you could have been referred by your homeroom advisor because they observed that you are in need of counseling, or your subject teachers, your grade level advisors. Pwede rin po ang mga parents or guardians natin na mag-refer na mga estudyante natin, especially now that in the current setup, they are the ones who observe the behavior of our students, and also for classmates also. So probably you have friends that you think can benefit from counseling, then you may also refer them. Rest assured that during counseling, we observe confidentiality. So ibig sabihin, all of the information that you shared during counseling will be between you and your counselor. It remains private. However, there are instances wherein we have to break confidentiality. So I'll explain that one later. So if you're going to refer somebody, okay, whether you're a homeroom advisor, parent or guardian or classmate, you have to fill out this form. So FMGUC 017 is the referral service form. So you have to place the name of the person you're referring, the date, grade level and section, and then the reasons why you are referring the person. Okay, and you also have to print your name and then sign. Aside from this form, for those who have decided to enter into counseling, they're also required to fill out this form, FMGUC 024, or the informed consent form. In this informed consent form, you will be provided with information regarding counseling, regarding the platform that you will use, what to expect from the counseling, and also what I talked about earlier regarding confidentiality. What are the limits of confidentiality? Okay. So aside from counseling, there are times wherein counselors may need to refer students to psychologists or psychiatrists for further intervention. So during counseling, we may observe behavior that can be indicative of a disorder or an illness. So for us, for the student to be properly helped, they need to be referred to other experts for further assessment and intervention. So in here, in the referral program, of course, the parents are informed of the need of the student to be referred, and then they would need to choose from a particular list which psychiatrist or psychologist they would prefer. Okay. So, for more information regarding our services and programs, you may contact us through our email address, shsguidance@slu.edu.ph, or through our FB page. So, just in case you want to refer somebody or you want to have counseling, you can contact us through these official channels. And of course, if you have other concerns regarding our services or anything that we can help you with, you can reach us through these platforms. So again, this is Ma'am Lani from the Guidance Office. We look forward to your participation in our programs, and if you have any concerns, do not hesitate to contact us through these channels. So thank you very much, and we hope for a very productive academic year. Thank you.
senior high school student. I hope you are also excited to meet your different teachers. Be rest assured that you are well taken care of, even if it's virtual. Now that you have a general view of the different academic and non-academic information and services, I would like to thank you for your participation up to this point. We are now open to your questions and inquiries. You can use the chat box, or you may also raise your hand and I will attend to you. Thank you.
Ma'am Lorena will assist you for the answer to the question. For the question regarding the voucher, usually po at the end of the academic year, na ipo-forward ng DepEd system yung voucher payment. So the deduction would come usually at the end of the academic year. That's where the voucher assistance would be deducted from the total fee of the student. Thank you.
Roy,
Go ahead,
May
Sir
I-
Min.
may I add regarding the voucher? I think the question is, will it be applied? Ano na yung nilagay doon? Sorry May I ask if the vouchers will be automatically deducted or it should be applied? So, sa presentation kanina, you have seen the amount. So if you are from the public, if you are a public grade 10 completer, you are afforded the 20,000 pesos voucher amount. If you came from a private junior high school, 16,000. Now, it is the policy of our University Accounting Office not to automatically deduct or apply this in your school fees. No? Once our school has created the billing statement, then in principle, meaning kahit wala pa yung payment from the Department of Education, we have an agreement with the cashier to deduct this so that parents and students will already know that the voucher or the voucher amount is now on process or matatanggap na po. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Good morning, sirs, if I may.
Yes po. Ma'am Rosalie, please be on deck for participants who raise their hand. Thank you, Ma'am Rosalie. Sige lang po.
Yes, sir, if I may. If I may, Mr. Bayungasan po, isang
Go ahead
parent.
po, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes po, good morning po.
Doon po sa kanina, natakil kanina, ma'am, na mode of learning. May experience kasi ako doon sa anak ko nung siya po ay junior high school. And I understand na yung kwan natin is DepEd approved lahat po yun sa mga mode of learning, sa module, sa kwan ng online. However, is it lahat po ba ng programs or ng mode of learning is approved by, dinesign po ba ninyo yan o galing sa DepEd? Yun lang po ang tanong ko. Dahil may tanong po kasi akong susunod dahil yung ikon ko na po, hindi sa pagkukon sa DepEd po, ma'am. Dahil yung kinuha nila nung sila po ay junior high school, pati ako hindi ko naintindihan. Sabi ng anak ko is, papaano po ba ito? Pati po ako nag-research, then sa answer ko po is, alam ko na correct. Nung pumunta po doon sa teacher is mali. So, which is which? Yung programs po ba natin is binigay ng DepEd or kayo po ang nag-design? Yun po ang conclusion, ma'am.
Okay, so maraming salamat po sa tanong, sir. Naintindihan po namin na nagkaroon po kayo ng agam-agam o kaya pagdadalawang isip. Mayroon pong hiningi sa lahat po ng mga sa Basic Ed ang Learning Continuity Plan. Kung paano po isasagawa ang pag-aaral. Noong nag-umpisa ang pandemya from 20 Kailan na yun? March 13? 2 years ago, ata na yun. Ngayon, yung katanungan nyo, dahil maganda nga yung katanungan ninyo, sir. Dalawa po talaga ang plataforma para may pagpatuloy, may taguyod ito. At yun po yung ipinarating natin sa DepEd. At yun ang isa sa mga pangangailangan para makita nila kung paano matugunan ang pangangailangan ng ating mga mag-aaral. Yan, kaya nga lumabas ang dalawang plataforma, ang online at ang offline, o kaya yung tinatawag natin paggamit ng module. Sir, matanong ko po, saan po nagtapos ng grade 10 ang inyong anak? Junior high?
Yes, sir. Sa Mountain Province po, sir.
Okay. So, sir, lahat ba na naibigay o ang plataforma na naibigay sa kanya sa module, sa kanyang pag-aaral, module ba? Module?
Yes, sir. It is
Offline?
in modular form.
Okay. So, ngayon, kung napansin ninyo ang aking paglalahad kanina, ang pagkakaiba, dahil ginagawa po namin ito sa Basic Ed ng SLU Senior High School as approved by DepEd. LCOP po yun, yung nasabi ko kanina, yung Learning Continuity, ito po na programa. Ngayon, kung titignan ninyo yung nasabi ko kanina, pati nasabi nyo na uray siya as lang hangkung maawatan, something like that. Ganun ba, sir, ang pagkaintindi ko sa sinabi nyo?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, tandaan po ngayon kung sino man ang mga nakikinig. Kaya't hindi po kapag nag-email po kayo sa amin at ang modality na gustong mangyari ay from CBL to OBL, nandun lahat ang gabay. Kapag ang in-email nyo sa amin o kaya inilagay nyo during the enrollment, gusto nyong mag-module. Kaya't hindi po namin sinasagot agaran dahil kailangan maipaintindi namin ito ngayong orientation. Ngayon, sir, ito po yung kasagutan sa inyong tanong, sa inyong pagdadalawang isip o agam-agam. Kung titignan po natin, sir, ang junior high school, medyo nahirapan na kayo at hindi nyo na naintindihan dahil yung mga asignatura, yung subjects na kinuha nila ng buong taon, hindi ako nagkakamali, 10 or 11 subjects, I guess. Depende po yun sa itinalaga po sa sa school kung saan nag-aral yung anak sa Mountain Province. And it is in the form of module. Nahirapan kayo at hindi nyo naintindihan yung iba. Ngayon, sa senior high school, nasabi ko kanina at nasabi rin po sa presentasyon ni Ma'am Ruby na ang curriculum ng senior high school po natin ay ibang-iba. Sa first semester, 10 subjects. Sa second semester, 10 subjects. Ngayon, kung titignan, na nabanggit nyo kanina, medyo nahirapan ako, hindi ko maintindihan. Kung titignan natin sa senior high school, kung yun ang pagkaintindi nyo noon, nung sa junior high, medyo nahirapan kayo, mas lalo pong mahihirapan ang mga mag-aaral na nasanay ng pagsagot o paggamit ng module. Dahil
Nasabi ko kanina na kung minsan wala si nanay, kung minsan wala si tatay dahil may trabaho. O kaya'y may trabaho si nanay, si tatay, ang kasama nila sa bahay ay si lolo o si lola. At kapag ginagawa yung module, mahihirapan talaga yung bata. Kung nangyari yun, kung naging karanasan po yun ng anak nyo nung junior high, dito, baka mauulit kapag nag-module. Ngayon, kapag nasa online, nandun lahat ang gabay. All instruction, all explanation. If there are some queries or let's say mga iba pang mga kadahilanan, the teacher is there going to present and then guide whatever the student, most especially that he or she wanted to know. Sa synchronous, on the spot, nakikita niya yun. At kapag halimbawa mahiyain, mababain, jaubing, nababainghay, daisat, titignan, mayroon tayong online consultation. Depende po yun sa ito po yung free time, yung office hours din ng ating mga kaguruhan. At doon ipapaliwanag na naman. At kapag nandun sa module, yun ngay yung titignan natin pag hindi nyo nagabayan yung anak, hanyong naawatan, and then how much more si lolo, si lola. Siyempre tatanungin ng anak sa teacher. Hindi nakikita ni bata o yung mag-aaral, yun lang ang isinasagot or sasagutin ng teacher. So paano kung palalawakin? Mahirap pong palawakin. Katulad ng pagsagot ko ngayon, sir, mayroon po tayong mga action na ginagawa. Ganito rin ang mangyayari sa synchronous.
Romy, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, may quick response din po si Ma'am Mary regarding that. Go ahead, Ma'am Mary.
Yes. Okay. Ma'am Mary?
Thank you po, sir. Good morning to all parents and to all students who are with us this morning. In addition to what our principal said as regards the question raised by one parent, yes, whether it is OBL or CBL, our modules are designed according to the MELCs prescribed by DepEd. So whether OBL po or CBL po kayo, dear students, ang mga teachers ay dinesign ang mga modules according to the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. So these modules are contextualized. So huwag po tayong mag-alala when it comes to the modules themselves, wala pong pagkakaiba between OBL and CBL learners. Yun po, sir. I hope I was able to answer your question. Yes po, the modules are personally designed and we follow the MELCs recommended by DepEd. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Mary.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Mary.
Okay. Para maging panatag din ang loob, yung nagsalita po kanina, sir, siya po yung isa po sa department head or learning area coordinator po ng senior high school.
Yes, Sir Romy.
So, yes, sir.
Sir, i-share ko na rin po itong sample na class schedule as well as the link to our parents, guardian, and students. Kindly check our chat box. There is a link there where the student can already accomplish the decided learning modality. Because after this orientation, hopefully both the parent, guardian, and student are able to decide well which modality is best to help the students. So kindly check on the chat box. The link is there and we will receive your response. Only that for those who will choose CBL, there is a mandatory added requirement or attachment to be submitted. Okay. Secondly, on the screen, we can see a sample schedule for an online modality class so that we can further encourage you to choose OBL because your schedule for Monday to Friday is well planned, wherein you can seek the help of your teachers because per day, the one in blue color is only the time for you to meet your teachers synchronously via Google Meet. The one in red color, that is your opportunity to get in touch with your subject teacher per subject if you have some concerns regarding your subject, requirements, and so on. So whether you miss your class because of power interruption or bad weather, there is a chance for you to reach them out. Okay? And for the synchronous class, with the 2 hours, it is well maximized regarding the discussion of the module, which sadly, wala po ang mga ganito sa offline modality. Okay? Offline modality, they can contact their teacher, but they can only ask the question related to a particular area. Meanwhile, for online, mas ma-elaborate pa po ni teacher. Bukod pa po dun sa group research requirement for their research subject. Okay? So again, on screen is a sample class schedule. In the chat box will be the link for the decided modality. Please accomplish the link so that we can include you in the list of the chosen modality. Salamat po.
Something about through online, there's a way for the students to be able to have a consultation with the teacher for any missed class. Just a suggestion, would it be better if the classes are recorded so that the teacher and the student itself are not overwhelmed on time setting? Para kung sakaling over the weekend, meron yung student na kailangan i-review, they can always go back to that recorded class and get the information that they are looking for. So, you know, don't you think that would be also another option to empower our students to be more proactive in learning items or in learning things that they have missed from previous class, or if they need clarification po?
Yes, sir. As to the recordings, we do not actually keep on record the daily synchronous class recordings for each subject. Rather, we encourage our students to maximize the consultation time. And often, recordings are offered when students are in other countries, especially that they have a different time zone with regard to the attendance of our synchronous class. But of course, with the academic committee, we will review further on the use of Google Meet recordings. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, if I may.
Yes, sir.
This is the same, kon lang po ito, request. Yung link po ba pwedeng ikon sa mga kon ng mga bata sa mga Google accounts or kon? Dahil kung makon yung Zoom natin, baka mawawala yung link.
Yes, sir. We will seek the help of our class advisors, sir, regarding the final modality link.
Okay, thank you po, sir. And I'm looking forward for the St. Louis University. Thank you very much po. Hindi po ako nagkamali na nagpumili sa mga sa eskwelahan ninyo. And I mean to say na ako po isang Louisian. Then very thankful dahil yung mga explanation po ninyo is very clear. And looking forward for the dahil sa in fact sa mga ibang parents yung po kasi yung pinilang ng anak ko is yung modality is yung sa so sinip ko po siya sa OBL po. So thank you very much and mabuhay po ang SLU, mabuhay po tayong lahat. Thank you very much. Stay safe everyone.
Maraming salamat po, sir. Nakakataba po ng puso ang inyong ipinahayag. And we are honored also to embrace the trust you have offered to us. Ma'am Rosalie, few minutes na lang po. Thank you.
So dear parents, guardians, and students, it seems that we cannot attend to the rest of your queries. So please do not worry. You may still send your concerns to the SLU Laboratory High School Senior High Facebook page. So thank you for your patience and understanding. So to close this fruitful event, I would like to introduce the new Assistant Principal for Senior High, Mr. Roy Asignacion. Sir Roy?
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rosalie. Thank you for accommodating us, dear parents, guardian, and our dear students. Your presence in this school activity means a blessing for the whole senior high school community. Your questions, comments, and clarifications offer mutual interaction. Our school is more challenged to do better from your recommendations. We wish that we continue to assist our child or ward as they start this year. They need all the guidance and love so that their school experience would be clear. To our dear learners, let us continue to practice open communication at home with our teachers and staff. We can only do so much to help you hone. We have a good and beautiful mission to be of service to others. Thus, earnest gratitude is offered to our SLU administration for their unli support. Sir Romy, for your indulgence, and to our very able and dedicated teachers and staff for your valuable time and assistance. Maraming salamat. Agyaman kami launay, Luisians.
Thank you, Sir Roy. So, dear parents, guardians, and students, I welcome you to St. Louis University Laboratory High School Senior High Academic Year 2021-2022. So let us close this productive morning with a closing prayer by our very own principal, Mr. Gabriel.
So, maraming salamat sa aming mga mahal na mga magulang at mga mahal naming mga mag-aaral sa pagtugon sa tawag na ito para malaman, matugunan natin kung ano ang naghihintay para po sa magandang kinabukasan ng ating mga anak. Tamang-tama, 12:00 na po at ito po ay oras ng paghahanda ng kung anuman ang biyaya na ibinigay ng Diyos para pagsaluhan sa loob ng tahanan. So samahan niyo po ako sa ating panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Diyos Espiritu Santo. Amen. Panginoong naming Diyos, lubos po kaming nagpapasalamat sa inyo dahil hindi niyo po kami iniwan, bagkus nagsilbi kayong ilaw sa amin. Naiparating namin sa aming mga mahal na mga mag-aaral, mga mahal na magulang, kung ano ang naghihintay para sa kanilang anak sa pagbubukas ng taong ito. Ramdam po namin ang hirap at pasakit sa araw-araw ng mga pangyayari dahil sa pandemyang ito. Sa oras na ito, O Ama, hinihiling ko po sa inyong paanan na sana huwag pabayaan ang aming mga mahal na mga magulang. Ingatan mo po ang kanilang kalusugan. Laging ibigay sa kanila ang pangangailangan upang sa ganon magsilbing lakas ito habang ginagampanan nila ang kanilang tungkulin bilang magulang, mabigyan lamang ng magandang kinabukasan ang kanilang mga anak. Hinihiling ko rin po sa inyo, O Ama, na pahiramin ng iba yung dunong, iba yung pag-intindi ng mga mag-aaral na ibibigay niyo po sa amin upang mapagtagumpayan na naman po nila ang taong pagsubok ng araling ito. Hihilingin din po namin, O Ama, na basbasan ang mga pagkaing inihanda nila sa kanilang tahanan. Ang pagkain niyan, O Ama, na galing sa banal mong hapag, magsisilbing lakas ng aming katawan upang ang lakas ng ito ang siyang gagamitin para maipagpatuloy pong gampanan at purihin ang iyong makapangyarihan at mapagmahal mong pangalan. Anghel naming tagabantay, kayo na po ang bahala na ingatan ang bawat isa sa amin sa araw-araw naming mga gawain. Ang lahat ng ito ay taus-puso naming idinudulog sa ngalan po ng aming Panginoong Hesus. Amen.
Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Diyos Espiritu Santo. Amen. Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Go.
Right, so thank you for that beautiful prayer, sir. And thank you everyone for attending the senior high orientation. Please be reminded that an evaluation form will be sent to your email. So we are asking your help for the accomplishment of this form. So this has been your host and guidance counselor, Rosalie Sampson. You can now leave the meeting. Thank you and happy lunch.